For years, I followed the same Lightroom portrait editing techniques and kept getting the same results, surprisingly enough. But then about a year ago, I stumbled upon a new technique that went against everything I thought I knew, and my portraits never look better. So let's jump into Lightroom and I'll show you how. So now we're in Lightroom. Here's a few photos from a shoot I did a few years ago. So first of all, I'm going to demonstrate the old way that I used to edit photographs that I think a lot of you might be familiar with. Well, this part doesn't change. Go down to lens correction, enable profile corrections. Lightroom knows what lens you shot this with, and then they know how to counteract some of the barreling and the vignetting. So then go to transform and auto transform, and then previously what I would have done is just gone through each of these sliders and just moved them to the left or the right to taste. So I think it's exposed pretty okay. So then I push up the contrast, the highlights, it'd just be to taste, as well as the shadows depending on if you wanted to regain more or not. So then I do remember previously an editor said that a part of your image should be completely white and a part of it should be completely black. So what I used to do was boost the whites until I was happy. I wouldn't want it completely blown out. And then I'd reduce the blacks to part of it was completely black. Maybe something right there. Then the clarity, I'd push up the clarity like, don't do that. Probably about there. And then the saturation, I boost it a little bit too. So then this would be the final image that I would have presented previously. Nothing wrong with that image if that's the type of edit that you want, maybe if that's your style. But the next way I'm going to show you is a lot more forgiving and a lot more in line with what a beauty shot should look like, I think. I'm just going to reset that. So as I said, lens correction, enable profile correction, get rid of the barreling and the vignetting. Auto transform, just so we'll have the same image side by side to compare and contrast. Now this is where it differs. Go down to the whites and reduce them to about -70, around 65 to -70. Then the blacks, boost them to +70. The clarity, reduce that to about -7, 8, 9, less than -10, and then push up the saturation a little bit. Now, I think that is just such a far superior image for a beauty shot. It's just so much more forgiving on the blemishes on the skin, because the clarity would have drawn them out previously, whereas now you don't need to see every single pixel. So then I'd still do the highlights and the shadows to taste, just depending on whether you want to get more or less out of the image. Pretty happy with the exposure, and I do push up the contrast a little bit. So then now we can do a side-by-side comparison. So again, yeah, I think pretty clear to see. The old style is a lot more contrasty. The new style is just so much more smoother, so much softer. The new edit just has more neutral, true-to-life skin tones, more refined, more professional, and that's what it's really about. The temptation is, once you start using Lightroom and Photoshop, is to push everything to the max. But then after more exposure, no pun intended, to dealing with clients and doing this on a more regular basis and getting feedback from people, I think refining your skills and less is more, and not pushing absolutely every pixel to the max can actually gives you a far superior image. It's a lot more true to life. If you have been editing portraits the way I previously showed you, I'd highly recommend giving this way a try. Oh yeah, one thing, yes, I am wearing a Power Ranger onesie, and yes, I am 34 years of age. So if you like this tutorial, please give it a like, comment down below and hit that subscribe button.